Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Victor Melcher, and today I'm going to explain the difference between LUTs and Dehancer. And for my preference of LUTs, I will be using Joel Famolaro's Phantom LUTs. And they're both amazing tools for color grading that you can get a really great image out of. So basically what I want to do is break down what each of them are, how they differ, what situations I use them in, and also who I'd recommend them to. And I've already done a few different color grading tutorials on both Phantom LUTs and Dehancer. So if you are interested in seeing just the regular tutorial, you can feel free to click that little info button on the top right corner. And first off, I do want to just give a disclaimer that Dehancer did provide me with their plugin. And if you are interested in purchasing it yourself, you can use my promo code VICTOR at the checkout for 10% off of your purchase. But with that being said, I do want to provide my honest opinion, and I do think both LUTs and Dehancer are amazing color grading tools that you can both use to get an amazing image out of your footage. And now let's get into it. All right, so first we're going to start with LUTs. So the term LUT stands for lookup table, and I'm sure there's a much more in-depth way to explain it, but in the simplest terms, it is basically a color filter or a preset that you can use to transform your flat log footage into a solid looking image. Now typically LUTs sell in packs of about 4 to 5 different creative looks, so you can kind of pick whichever one fits your story best or whichever vibe you're going for. And you have to make sure to buy the specific LUT pack that has been created for your camera, because every camera brand has a different color science, and there are so many different LUT packs out there and a bunch of different people that make them. But my personal favorite are Joel Famolaro's Phantom LUTs, just because he has spent so many years crafting these LUTs to match our budget cinema cameras as closely to that of the ARRI cinema cameras. And if you aren't familiar with ARRI cinema cameras, they're incredibly popular on big movie productions. So if you have seen any movies within the recent 10 years or so, it was most likely shot on an ARRI Alexa or an Alexa Mini. So these LUTs are amazing, and the way it works is you pretty much throw it on and you instantly have a great image. You'll probably have to do very minimal tweaks with the skin tones, the highlights, and the shadows, but overall most of the work is kind of done for you. And now Joel's LUTs are typically $49 per pack, but he always has different sales going on. So yeah, overall they're definitely very affordable, and he is constantly adding cameras to the list, but as of right now it is a bit limited when you compare it to Dehancer. For example, right now he doesn't offer support for Fujifilm, and I've seen a lot of people starting to use the Fujifilm X-H2S, but that's as of the making of this video. I'm sure he will add that in the future. Okay, so typically I find LUTs to be the most useful when I am working on a client project and it has a tight deadline. For example, say if I have to shoot and edit something same day because the client might need that footage, then I use Phantom LUTs just because they're very easy. You just throw them on and then you can edit it from there. So yeah, I would say that's the case for using LUTs, is that they're very quick and easy to use. And don't get me wrong, Phantom LUTs aren't created to be necessarily an end all, this is the only look you can get out of them. You can definitely use them as a starting point and make your customizations from there, and plenty of talented filmmakers and colorists have. But personally, I find them to fit into my workflow to be a quick and easy solution to get great colors out of my footage. And now let's talk about Dehancer. So while LUTs are basically like a filter that you instantly throw on your footage, Dehancer is a film emulation plugin. So it offers a bunch of different panels where you choose your film stock and your film print and your grain, bloom, halation, stuff like that that you want to add on or not add on. Dehancer is kind of like crafting your own look from scratch, but also with the help of the tools. So you're not totally alone on this, and it's definitely not as hard as you'd think once you mess around with it yourself for a little while. And like the effort that Joel has put into crafting his Phantom LUTs, Dehancer has also put in a ton of effort studying and researching different film stocks. And the cool thing is that Dehancer can be a great film emulation plugin, so you can make the look of your footage as gritty and film-like as possible, or you can disable all those film qualities and still get amazing colors out of it. So as of right now, Dehancer offers 63 different film stocks and different film prints that you can kind of combine and get a much larger variation when you compare it to buying LUT packs. And also when you buy the license with Dehancer, they give you access to every camera brand they support. So you don't have to buy a specific pack for your specific camera. It offers whatever camera they currently support. Now the price of Dehancer does vary on the license that you get, but the best version, which is Dehancer Pro, costs $399. That $300+ cost is significantly more expensive than getting Phantom LUTs, but the takeaway is that you do get a little bit more control and flexibility when crafting your image. Those are kind of the factors, and I would say it really depends on how you want your workflow to be, the deadlines you have to achieve, your budget of course, and also your experience. And with Dehancer, I find it incredibly useful when I'm working on passion projects like my YouTube channel and stuff that I know I don't really have a tight deadline, so I can kind of take my time and experiment within the color grade. And I will say that I have been using Dehancer a lot more. I feel like it has made me a bit of a better colorist. And now for my conclusion. So in summary, with LUTs, you can typically get a quick and easy look and just export your footage. And with Dehancer, it does take a little bit more time, but you do get a lot more options. And for who I'd recommend each to, I would say if you are a beginner filmmaker and you're not super confident in your color grading abilities just yet, and you are on a bit of a budget, I would say start with Phantom LUTs just because most of the work is already done for you. You just have to do minor adjustments. And with Dehancer, I would recommend it to a filmmaker that you do have a bit more experience and you kind of want to experiment with a larger variety of different looks you can get out of your footage, and you do have a little bit more time on your hands. Anyways, I hope this helps. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I just want to say a huge thank you for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.